everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I brought any video to my channel, but actually been meaning to shoot a podcast ever since I came to the US. I'm currently in North Carolina State University, and this is the James Hunt Library, which is actually one of the biggest libraries in USA. And I thought of starting a podcast series on my channel, which is centered around technology. And for the first guest, I decided to invite my roommate, whose name is Kishore, and he's someone who's actually diving deeper into AI research, and I thought he can bring some good points, to the discussion, because AI is the hype right now. Everyone's talking about AI, but I thought it would be nice to understand the AI space from someone who's actually theoretically going deeper into it. So welcome Kishore, welcome to the podcast.
Hi Robin, thanks for having me on the podcast.
Yeah. So, you can just give a brief introduction about yourself, man?
Yeah, so I am a master's student at NC State.
Right.
I'm doing my research in AI.
Uh-huh.
I'm currently focused in theoretical ML, trying to understand what actually happens in a neural network when it tries to predict an outcome.
Yeah.
And I'm more interested in the mathematical foundations of AI and trying to understand what are the mathematical underpinnings which kind of lets a particular neural network get any output or whatever you want. So
got it. Yeah. So when people talk about AI, right? There are multiple fields, multiple subfields within AI. We have natural language processing, we have computer vision, and there is also something called reinforcement learning. Because I'm not too much familiar with that, because I'm more from a software engineering background. So what kind of specialization are you currently looking into?
I'm mostly currently looking into computer vision, especially looking into understanding the representation of computer vision models, as in what do the models encode and what are the hidden representations that happens when you're trying to predict on images or videos.
Got it.
And that's my current specialization.
Got it. So, if people were to join for masters, there are two kinds of people, right? There is one subset of people that mainly join masters because they want to get a job after their degree, and there are a few other, a smaller subset of people who actually are passionate about going deeper into a subfield of computer science or some other subject for that matter. So you are one of those people who are actually trying to pursue research and trying to learn trying to do some groundbreaking You are actually someone who's actually trying to do research and trying to learn the theoretical foundations of artificial intelligence. Right. How did you actually get started with this? I know that you like math. Is that how your journey started? Just for someone who wants to, go on the same trajectory, what advice would you give them?
So I think it was during the third year of my bachelor's that I found out that I'm not interested in web development, app development, all of the other fields. Right. It was mostly, I was just trying to search what is something that is within the field of computer science that interests me.
Right.
And that also has some kind of mathematics in it. And the first thing that I came upon was machine learning, not even actually AI, but mostly machine learning and data science. But when I was actually trying to research about what are the jobs and let's say what are the research opportunities within data science.
Got it.
It's mostly AI and deep learning, which was the kind of upcoming field during that time.
Right.
And so since it also had a lot of math in it, and most of the people who were trying to do research, kind of all the groundbreaking research was on the foundation of mathematical models.
Right.
That's how I started getting into this, and 2 years later I'm here.
Awesome. That's nice to know. You've had a great journey so far, and I wish you all the best in your AI theoretical journey. I hope you contribute to the next AI revolution in the foundational level, because that's something that we'd all love to see. One main thing that everyone, including the people who are in India and the people who are currently pursuing their masters in US, they're all concerned about one thing, which is the job market and the economy. People who have come for masters before 2021, they've gone on to have great careers with of course they've put in their hard work, but it has been fairly easier for them compared to us to get those big tech opportunities, like to get into FANG or to get into those 150, 160K opportunities. Right. But right now, looking around, what can you say about the situation, and what are your thoughts on how it might improve?
Currently, the situation is quite muddled. I mean, everyone is grappling with the same fear as to what needs to be done to get that. It's not that they're not willing to put the effort, but there's no actionable item present to actually work on, right? And the thing that I kind of feel is happening right now is that before, software engineers were kind of expected to generalize better,
correct,
to know most of the fields, and the depth at which they know each of the subfields is not important.
Right.
They must be having minimum knowledge, or at least satisfactory knowledge in most of the fields, and that was what was expected.
Right.
But right now the market kind of expects specialization rather than generalization. They look for people who have done considerable amount of work in a particular subfield, because they're not willing to invest time in freshers and making them learn, getting them like giving them a year to at least kind of get their shoes dirty or feet dirty in the particular field.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons that fresher market has taken a huge hit. Like when it comes to SDE2 market or some senior market, people are still like getting good jobs, getting good offers, because those people are actually experts in whatever they've done like for a couple of years.
Right.
So that's something which is disheartening for the people who are looking to get into big entry level roles.
Right.
Everything is changing so fast, the whole dynamic is changing so fast, and one of the main factors for that is AI.
Right.
So as we all know, and as anyone who is listening to tech news and who's keeping up to date with technology sector, they know that AI is automating a lot of software engineering tasks. AI is coming for, everyone's saying that AI is going to automate the entire job. Like ChatGPT, when it came out, people were telling that, okay, this might be just an assistant to us. This might just be like a co-pilot, will just be a productivity booster for an engineer. But now that there's like something called as Devin AI also released, and you just sent me the Twitter link as soon as it released, and I was like mind blown. What is happening? And the worst part of all of this is just the beginning. Right. And like more and more people like you are getting into AI, and like all of you, like when more people focus on one problem statement, this problem will only get solved faster. Right. So like what are your thoughts on the future of software engineering? That is something that a lot of people would like to know.
I think I'm kind of going against the grain and not buying into the hype of AI kind of replacing most of the software engineering jobs.
Right.
Primarily because software engineering jobs, at least the areas where AI can replace software engineering jobs, is where there is very little collateral damage. Right. If you deploy an AI model and if it turns out to be bad, then the people who are, let's say, deploying the AI model, if they're comfortable with it, then it's fine.
Right.
But it's very difficult for you to completely replace a team of software engineers and put an AI model, because once, let's say, it gives you a satisfactory result, but if you want to change, let's say, tweak something in your website, add a functionality or doing something, right? All these things are easy for humans to kind of, because they understand the context and they build upon it. Right. But for an AI to do it and to kind of do it successfully, it's very difficult because there's no accountability on the other side.
Correct.
Right. So
accountability is the keyword.
It's the keyword. Yeah. So I certainly don't see AI replacing an entire team. Right. It might just be an assistant to, let's say, an SD2 or someone experienced who's kind of banking upon an SD1 to help him. Yeah. Probably an AI might replace him, but even that is something that I consider as far-fetched. Got it. Because yesterday there was a news report that came that Devin's video that came out was actually kind of doctored. Okay. And the Internet of Gods. Yes. Yeah. So it's actually not even close to 13% is what their accuracy rate.
Yeah, that's what they claimed.
Yeah. So it's, I think there's a long time for AI to become successful enough to replace software engineers.
True.
So it's just the hype.
And also a few days ago, we were like me and Sai Kishore, we were having a discussion about AGI. Yeah. Okay, Sam Altman is saying that okay, AGI is going to get here, it's going to replace all the jobs, like all the skilled labor is going to get automated. But as someone who is actually understanding how deep neural networks are built, and how those activation functions, like how the back propagation and all of those technical things happen. As someone who knows the math, what are your thoughts on AGI, and what do you think is holding us back from, holding them back from actually achieving AGI?
Yeah, so all the results out there, be it Sora, be it ChatGPT, they are very impressive, no doubt. Right. But the problem is still the same. We still don't know what function a particular neural network is fitting, and we still don't know how is it able to predict something. Right. Until and unless we figure that out, there is no way for us to achieve AGI. Right. And I certainly don't buy into the hype of AGI, because one of the founders of deep learning, that is Jan LeCun, he's a researcher at Meta. Right. He says that forget AGI, AI will take at least a decade for it to reach the level of intelligence of a cat, not even a human being.
Really?
Yeah, because most of the LLM models or ChatGPT or whatever you see, they are very good knowledge soakers. That is, you give them a bit of knowledge.
Right.
It takes knowledge from videos, audios, text, and everything else.
Right.
It just soaks up the knowledge and then it gives you the answers. But what a human being does is he takes the knowledge, he understands what piece of knowledge relates with the other, and then kind of reasons as to what is actually important for the user, which the current LLM models or any of the deep learning models that you see are not able to do. That's why you get erroneous outputs quite often when you're using ChatGPT, Sora, or any one of these things. Right? So for it to actually achieve AGI, it must be able to understand what it is doing at the current moment.
The black box.
Exactly. So until and unless we do that, there is only the outputs might get better, and the way it looks and feels, that might get better.
Right.
But I don't think it replacing or having the intelligence of a particular human being. That is not certainly possible in the next decade or so.
Right. Okay. That's an interesting take. Like everyone's been actually claiming that AGI is going to get here, but here's actually someone who's like trying to understand the like foundationally like unravel the problem and trying to tell us that okay, AGI is still far away. There's one major thing that has been the talk of the town in the entire university right now, like at least in the engineering, amongst our engineering peers, like the contrast between the software and the hardware market. Like what do you think about it? Because I personally come from an electronics background, but like I went into the software industry as soon as I graduated. So I'm pursuing my master's in computer science, but the people who stuck onto the hardware path are generally doing really well right now. Like what are your thoughts on that, and where do you see that going? And the people who are actually maybe coming into computer science, should they probably go for computer engineering because that's seeing a lot of uptick? What are your thoughts about that?
So just contrasting between hardware and software, the reason why we see a lot of uptick in hardware is because of the fact that there is a software demand in terms of AI, and AI needs chips. Right. It needs compute. And for that compute, you need hardware engineers to kind of build next generation GPU models. Right. But the fact still remains that most of the hype that you see in AI, we are still not sure how many of these, let's say, companies or all of these businesses will remain stable in the next 5 years or so. So because of the hype, most people are getting into AI, and because they're getting into AI, they need chips. Right. And the demand is kind of an artificial demand because most of the businesses in AI are not even sustainable right now. Right. So until and unless we reach a stage where all of these companies become profitable or at least sustainable at a certain level, and we figure out how many chips or let's say how much compute is needed for each company and each division, until and unless we reach that stage, there will always be hype around AI. And since there is hype around AI, people will just throw in money to get in more chips and more compute and stuff like that. So I still think that people who are, let's say, interested in computer science must stick to computer science because there's already a lot of competition in computer engineering. It's not that they are getting their jobs easily. Right. It's just that they are having a better market than the CS ones. But for you to kind of switch from CS to CE and to be able to compete at the same level that they are doing, I think that we are just on two boards simultaneously.
Yeah, like you spoke about AI businesses, right? Like you said, most of these AI businesses they don't have a revenue generating business model yet.
True.
Like what are the current AI businesses? What are they planning? Like how are they planning to bring in money? And like most of them are going for subscription based models, which is not going to work in the long term. Just speak a little bit about AI businesses, right?
Let's say any business to make money, it either has to cater to the consumer or to a business, right? From the last 1 year or so since ChatGPT has released, right? There have been many other companies which have kind of brought in their own versions of AI where it will summarize your document, it will kind of do like most of the things that we see, right? Most of the tools that are online, AI tools online, document summarization, all these things, they're not being used by majority of the population. Right. Even within the tech community, if you see, there were almost 100 tools which released just after ChatGPT.
Something called Suno AI.
Suno AI also released just I think 2 weeks back. It's about kind of creating music, whatever. It's interesting.
How many people actually use it?
How many people actually use it? We don't know. It's a very interesting use case, and it just shows the capability of what you can do with large compute and AI AI.
Correct.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
For a common consumer to kind of use it on a daily basis, the only tool that I see that CS students are using on a daily basis is ChatGPT. And how many of them have subscribed to ChatGPT Plus?
Very few.
Very few. Yeah. Right? To expect another tool to kind of become your daily use for at least even software.
Something like Google or Facebook.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Right? And for a common person to actually go on and then use these AI tools and actually get value from them.
Correct.
That's too far-fetched, at least now.
Right.
So most of the AI companies that you see, I don't think you'll be seeing them in the next 5 years or so.
Right.
It's only like the marquee ones like OpenAI and all these companies.
Right.
Maybe they might remain, but the other ones, I'm not sure how they are going to make revenue out of it.
Got it. Yeah, that's very insightful actually. And one major thing that everyone who, like all the students who come for masters, everyone had in mind that, okay, I'm going to do masters and I'm going to command that 140k, 150k, 160k base salary. That's what everyone was thinking. But now the ground reality is not something like that, because even the people who got Google, Amazon, Facebook internships, many of them, like even people who got Microsoft internships for that matter, many of them, the companies are doing well, but they did not get their full-time offer. They did not get a return offer. Yeah. So at this point, how important is safety compared to, salary? Like, or if someone even enters the market with a lower salary, would they have an opportunity to reach that their dream salary range in the future? Like, how can they plan out their careers? Yeah. So what do you think is important right now?
I think considering the fact that we have an albatross on our neck called H1B thing, right? We have to kind of get our OPT and then H1B and stuff like that. So our visa is very important for us, most of our Indian students here. So for us, currently, what I think is that it's always safer to get a job.
Right.
Anything that works, but if you have few options, one that has a higher chance of conversion from an internship to a full-time,
right,
and then something that is at least related to your field. Once you're into the job market, since we already spoke that the SD2 market is quite good, you can weather the storm for a year and then probably shift to a better company instead of chasing the 150 or 140k job, which you might or might not land, but a 90k or a 85k job, which might not be the job that you had dreamt of while you're coming here.
Correct.
It's fine. You just work for it.
Getting into the market is
more important right now than actually kind of aiming for that one dream big company.
Got it. Yeah. That's nice. Okay, so I think that's it about tech. This is called as a Tech and Beyond podcast. So we'll also plan to speak about some other topics. And both me and Sai Kishore are actually very passionate about films and like filmmaking. So let's just speak a little bit about that, right? So like we often have this conversation about films, what goes into making a film. You're more into writing a film and dissecting what happens between the characters and the screenplay itself. So what, according to you, we're just taking a sharp turn in the podcast right now, going off on a tangent, but I just want to ask you, what do you think makes a good film? What do you think makes a good screenplay? It's just a casual talk.
So what makes a good film is a completely subjective experience. There's no one standard set rule that can be followed that will make a good film. If it were there, then most people would have done and they would have gotten a good film out there.
Right.
It's a completely subjective experience, and what one person goes through, let's say what one feels about a film, is as much about the film as much as it is about the person's life.
Correct.
Their experiences, their ideological preferences, their childhood, and all their biases, right? So what makes a good film is again completely subjective.
Right.
But what makes a good screenplay is again dependent on story.
Right.
There is a book by Robert McKee called Story, in which he tells that a good story is one which has a protagonist. In most of the movies have that. You have a good protagonist, you have a conflict, you have a resolution.
Right.
And a good screenplay is what extracts the maximum out of a good story. Right? A good story does not have a structure as such.
Correct.
It has a beginning, end, and middle. That's it.
Yeah.
A screenplay will rearrange these elements to make sure that to make sure that the essence of the story is reached to the audience.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And that is more important in a screenplay rather than the story. The duty of the screenplay writer is to make sure that the story is, at least what the core or the essence of the story is, it's reached to the audience.
And it's intact, right? When
exactly.
It comes to the audience, like what, Rajmouli or some other director who's, one of the very famous directors of our age, actually told something that when a director imagines a screenplay or a story, if he's even able to achieve half of that on screen, then it's a very successful, very successful filmmaking journey.
Right.
So yeah, that's how it goes. I'm just curious to know, right? You know so much about tech and also so much about films because you're passionate about both.
Right.
I just wanted to understand what was that one incident or the most memorable memorable incident of your life that established your love for films. Is there something that happened during your childhood, how you got like so into the filmmaking process? Not, you just don't view the movie as a normal viewer, right? You try to dissect everything.
Right.
So that's something I was curious about.
So I think till about 10th standard I viewed film as a medium of entertainment, and mostly I was just watching films which kept me entertained. That was the maximum utility of a film.
Correct.
And that was what I expected from it. But I think when I was in 11th grade, I saw a film called Arrival by Denis Villeneuve, who's the director of Dune, right?
It's the Hawkeye.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I don't know. Jeremy Renner,
correct.
Yeah.
So the trailer promised a sci-fi invasion thriller or something like that, which at that time was very exciting for me.
Correct.
So I went into the theaters thinking that it will be a sci-fi film. We'll see humans fighting aliens and stuff like that.
Right.
But the entire story and the entire film is about how we as humans treat experiences and how we as humans view time as like from the conception of our mind.
Right.
And after the film ended, I think it stayed with me for about 2 days because the entire philosophical point of the movie was just so subtly conveyed that it was disguised as a form of as a alien invasion thing.
Yeah.
Right. So that kind of made me realize that cinema is not about entertainment; it's about engagement.
Right.
Entertainment is itself engagement, but it's more than that, right? So you have to keep the viewer engaged. So a great film is one which actually stays with you for a long time after you have seen the movie, and that is one movie which kind of stayed with me for a long time.
Yeah, it's a great movie, man. I remember seeing Arrival. Man, it was just amazing. Like, I've seen a lot of sci-fi films, but seeing something like that, I was amazed at how they achieved that story on a cinematic level. How they were able to graphically picture all of that spaceship which is floating right above the earth. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing to know that even that was one of the key points in your journey into the films. Yeah. One question that I wanted to ask you, I'm very curious. Are there any underrated films that you feel deserve more recognition? Because when me and a few of my other friends, we always talk about the popular films. We talk about KGF, we talk about Avatar, we talk about Bahubali, but Sai is the one who always talks about some of those films that not a lot of us know about. But he tries to convince us that, okay, these are the films that everyone must watch. What are some of those films? Just can you name them and tell me why you like them so much?
So one filmmaker that I kind of love the most, at least in the Hollywood space, is Paul Thomas Anderson. He has made I think 7 to 8 movies in his life, and all of them are very good. But two of them which I would highly recommend is The Master and There Will Be Blood. Right. Two of these movies I think everyone must watch because they'll understand what separates good drama from an average movie. It's one of the, I think, two of the best on-screen portrayals of any character is there in Master and as well as There Will Be Blood. So I highly recommend that film. It's not that popular amongst the mainstream conversation with respect to classics, but those two.
That's one. And what about Maqbool?
Maqbool, okay. Yeah. So that's one of the finest, I feel, one of the finest Shakespearean adaptations in the world. It's Macbeth.
Do you also watch Kannada films?
Kannada films? Yeah, I do.
There is one movie that you often refer to. It's called as Gantu Mute.
Yes.
Can you speak about that movie? Why do you like that movie so much? Yeah.
So it's a small little film. I don't think it released in the theaters. Mostly it's on Prime, I guess.
Okay.
But it's about a girl who actually, what is her experience throughout her childhood, let's say in school, and then how she reflects upon it. And it's a slice of life film. It's not something that has much going on in it in the course of the film.
Right.
But just the way the characters are depicted and what a person goes through in that age. I think that kind of, I have not seen any Kannada film kind of do that in that space. So
how do you think the character, who is your favorite actor in Kannada?
In Kannada?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I'm talking about mainstream hero.
Mainstream?
Since we are talking about Gantu Mute, we kind of entered the realm of Kannada films. So I just wanted to ask, who's your favorite hero in Kannada?
Like as in the mainstream hero or something?
Yeah, mainstream.
Yeah, Darshan is my favorite actor.
Darshan is your favorite.
So yeah, the guy who's doing AI research, is a die-hard fan of Darshan. So you talked about character depiction and the kind of the intelligence, the essence of making sure that the story reaches the audience through the screenplay. How do you think that happens in the films of Darshan?
So I think ultimately, since I said films are a subjective experience, I think Darshan doesn't need story, screenplay, or all the structural parts of what makes a cinema, because he's already connected with the audience, and that's what matters at the end of the day. So I mean, anything, any role, anything, if he just comes on screen, I think that's enough.
Right. Got it.
And since we are talking about AI and how jobs are safe, I think Darshan is the only person who's kind of safe from all the AI.
Nothing,
exactly.
No one
Nothing can, yeah.
So we should all just keep calm, like say Jai D boss and like move on with our lives, right?
Yeah,
that's
the only thing I can do.
That's the mantra. Okay, so just one last question before I end the podcast. I just wanted to know, what do you think about the future of films? Like when AI comes, Nvidia CEO says that you don't need to know technology anymore. You just AI is going to offer you expertise at your fingertips. Right. You just need to know domain knowledge. So if someone were to have very good domain knowledge in films, how do you think they can leverage the expertise that AI offers to craft a wonderful film, craft something which will amaze a lot of people? What do you think is the future of films, and is AI going to be a part of it?
I think AI will play a very important part, because I think storyboarding is one part where directors kind of storyboard their ideas and then present it to producers and saying that this is what I envision.
Got it.
With the advent of AI, it's very easy for you to kind of realize what you have in your mind. Without any kind of budget, you can just make sure that you have a video ready which tells us the tone and the treatment that you have of the film. You can make animated videos or real life videos like Sora does, and then use it as a story, or let's say as a launch port for you to understand the tone and the treatment of the film, which can be shown to the producers, right? So that's
something like Avatar. James Cameron, in one of his interviews, he told that if you inject enough machine deep learning into the filmmaking process, you can achieve something like Avatar in half of the time that he achieved. So looking forward to looking forward to actually witnessing some of those kind of films being being mass produced in the future. So yeah, that's going to be really interesting. The age of AI is something that we're all excited about and we're all interested in, and we also have to be cautious about it. And we just had a conversation with someone who was at the forefront of the revolution.
Not at the forefront, but
No, but at least you're
trying to be part of the revolution.
Right, yeah.
And failing.
You're actually succeeding very much, and we're all witnesses of that. And I just want to end the podcast right here, and thank you so much for coming.
And I hope your ring of influence goes beyond your room and you get much better guests and stuff. So
no, of course I started with the best. I'm gonna make sure that I have pressure that I have to up my game and try to get better guests. So you've set the bar actually pretty high, and this podcast is really special to me because years from now, when you join OpenAI and stuff, I can at least look back on this and I can see, okay, I recorded a podcast with the research scientist who's currently leading the computer vision section of OpenAI. Right. Okay, that's it. Have a good day, guys. Thank you. I hope you got to learn something from this video, and if there's any thoughts on the way this podcast was arranged, or maybe about our guest Sai Kishore and some of the things that he told that you might not have come across before, just leave that in the comments, and we'll try to address it in the next episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Exactly 30 minutes.
How was that?